Hi, I'm Dawn and this is where Shabby meets Bling. We are just about to start celebrating the 4th of July weekend, which starts tomorrow. That means today is still June. So I am going to be celebrating Ween one more time. And I'm going to be creating a scene. I'm going to be creating a scene with a ghost and a spider. And we're going to start with the ghost. And we will be calling her Gilda. I will be using a couple of my own items today, and you can pick these up on Etsy. I'll leave the link in the description box below. This is our ghost, and I am going to retrofit this ghost. They are made to be carved and painted and crafted in any way you please. So I am going to change the position of the arm. I start by cutting the arm off. Poor little ghost. And I'm going to give it a little trim on the back. Trims up real easy. And I'm going to change the direction of the arm. First, I give it a light sanding in the area that I'm going to reattach the arm. And very Halloween-y, I'm decapitating a poor little ghost. But you give it a nice sanding. Then we simply hot glue it right in the position we want it. One nice thing about these items is you can use hot glue on them. Glue anywhere you need to, and then press it into place until it dries. I'm going to do a little bit more shaping and sanding. Because of the way we're going to display this little ghost, I want to create some movement in her lower body. So I am just going to take some little wedges here and there out of the bottom of her sheet, I guess, and then sand those smooth. Now our sweet little ghost is getting her first coat of paint. And I am just using interior house paint on this because I had it laying around. Later, she will be getting a coat of spray paint. And you can spray paint these directly. You don't need to do this coat first, but I wanted to add a little bit of dimension to it, like there was some actual thread count in her sheet. She has had her coat of spray paint, and now we're going to give her some eyes. Some eyes and a little mouth, and oh, ghost. We're bringing her to life. She is becoming Gilda. With Gilda nearly complete, we will be moving on to our spider. His name is Rover. We will be starting the construction of our spider with a good-sized styrofoam ball. I think this is a 3-inch. And I'm just going to carve it down because this is going to be the main part of his body. I love working in styrofoam if you haven't noticed. It's a fun medium to work in. The green styrofoam ball will be the front part of his body, where his little eyes and his legs will protrude from. And I'm just getting kind of an idea on scale here. And I gotta be straight with you. This isn't Rover. This is his big brother Ralph, who will be appearing in one of my Halloween shorts in the not too distant future. So I just trim and sand Ralph till I get him exactly the way I want him. We need to assemble Ralph's body, so I'm simply hot gluing the front part to the back part and holding him until he dries. Ralph needs some legs, so we're going to create some cavities that we are going to push some drinking straws through. So I push my paintbrush through, then I push the straw through. I repeat the process 4 times in total. I trim my straws very close to Ralph's body so that way I have a little channel for his legs. I'm using pipe cleaners for his legs, and because he's kind of a beefy spider, I'm using two pipe cleaners for each set of legs. I twist the two pipe cleaners together, then I push them through the channels. I do this 4 times in total to create 8 legs. Next, we have to position his legs and make sure they're the same length. So what I'm going to do is take them and kind of stretch them out and measure them up to make sure each side is the same length, because we don't want Ralph to be walking in circles with some legs longer than the other. After I have him shaped like a spider should be shaped, or at least a kind of a cartoon spider, I added 2 little pins, just actual sewing stick pins, to his little face for eyes. And now I'm going to add a couple more little pieces of pipe cleaner for those little protrusions that come out of the front of the spider. Hey, I'm sorry, I'm not up on my spider anatomy. So those things, we're gonna do those little things that come out of the front part of the spider. Now I am going to use some B7000 to glue all of his legs in place on both sides, because I want his little legs to be able to move independently. And since it's one long pipe cleaner going through to create 2 legs, I need both sides to move independently. And that will be very important when I do my short. Now, good old Ralph gets a couple of coats of just flat black paint. Even his little pipe cleaner legs are gonna get painted flat black. It's time to create a base for Gilda and Rover so we can complete our spooky scene. So I picked up a wood base for $1.99, and I picked up a bunch of these cloche bases for $1.25 each. Never pass solid wood by. I'm going to give each piece a nice coat of flat black paint. Now for some glue and some pilot holes and some screws, a quick coat of paint on the bottom, and finally a piece of scrap felt to glue on the bottom so we don't scratch our surface that we sit this on. I want Gilda to kind of hover, you know the way ghosts do. So I am taking some pretty heavy gauge wire, even though Gilda is extremely lightweight, and I am making a little tiny loop that I will be putting a screw through into our base. I drill a pilot hole first, and then I just screw it in place. I am using reindeer moss to cover the bottom of my base. And if you'll notice, I did paint that wire that will hold Gilda. I painted it black, at least the part that will be visible, so it kind of fades into the background. Now it's time to mount Gilda, and I am just making sure that the wire's not too long. I don't want it to poke through her belly. I just want it to hold her nice and firm in the back. And I'm gonna press gently just to give myself a nice hole to feed some hot glue in so I can get her temporarily on her stand. I will come back with some B7000 so that she's very, very sturdy. No self-respecting ghost would be caught dead out and about with her spider without the proper attire. So let's create some accessories for them. all good dogs, I mean, spiders need a beautiful collar and lead. So I'm going to use some ribbon, some little gingham orange and white, and a tiny little jewelry find for a dog tag. And I'm going to create a collar and a lead for Rover. Now that Rover has his accessories, now Gilda needs hers. She needs a handbag, so we're gonna make her one. I picked up this beautiful vintage looking fabric at Joann's, and it was on sale, and I thought I am going to take one of those little owl heads and cut it out and back it with some felt, 2 pieces, because this will be an actual functioning handbag, because hey, every ghost needs a functioning handbag. You don't know what they want to carry in there. So I'm going to cut out 2 pieces of felt, and then I'm going to use some glue, and I am going to center it in one of my pieces of felt. I pin the front and the back of the handbag together along with a piece of velvet ribbon, which will act as her purse strap. I am using copper embroidery thread and doing a very simple blanket stitch all the way around the perimeter of this little handbag. Gilda and Rover are complete, but their mossy little park needs some color, so we need to take care of that. I added a couple more accessories, and now I'm going to finish up by doing some detail painting around the base. It's a beautiful Summerween day. Let's go for a walk with Gilda and Rover. Here we get a good look at Rover and his beautiful little gingham collar and his dog tags. Just in case he gets lost, someone can bring him home to Gilda. He even brought a couple of bones with him in case he gets hungry on their little walk. Gilda and Rover didn't know it, but Ralph snuck out of the house to go along for a walk as well. There you can see the trim around the border of the base, and there you get a really nice look at Gilda's couture owl bag. I even made Gilda a little headscarf. I found the scarf while thrifting. I brought home 2 options, only 50 cents a piece. Gilda brought her 2 bat friends along for the walk as well. These bats are available on Etsy. I'll leave the link in the description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, share it with your family and friends, and anybody that loves Halloween or Junoween. You can show your support of this channel by subscribing, so don't forget to subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and check out my new shop on Etsy. But for now, this is Dawn with Shabby Meets Bling. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time.